Hello, and welcome to Among the Lilies. This is a show for ladies who are tired of pretending and are ready to be real. I'm your host, Cameron Frad, and today I'm going to be really real with you. So, I haven't done an episode in a good bit, and I feel like I just want to touch base and kind of explain why. So, I know a lot of y'all know I've been struggling with health issues for like the last year. And I just want to talk about like chronic pain because it's really painful. I think sometimes, I don't know, like when I hear chronic pain, I'm like, oh, that stinks. People are in pain a lot. That's hard. That stinks. But now being someone that struggles with it myself, like I feel like some people have like a lot of letters after their name. Like they have like, they're an MD or I don't know, psychologist, whatever. They have all these cool letters, and I have weird diseases with different numbers. I mean, not numbers, letters. My brain is mush and it's not working right now. But um like I knew I had endometriosis and PCOS like forever ago before I ever got married. And then I had GERD, another one, GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. I got diagnosed with that when I was like, I don't know, 19, I think. And then IBS, and now POTS and EDS and all these fun things. And the EDS is the one that's like kicking my butt the most. We went south, we went to Florida so I could spend some time in the sun, and I felt great. I felt amazing. It was like the way I talk about it, or the way, like the best way of describing it is like, I felt like I defrosted. And I know that sounds like crazy, but Matt and I went on a trip, and when we had flown home, like I felt so good there. And he was saying it was just so good to have his wife back and just feeling like I was normal again. And then probably like 2 days after getting home, it's like the first day I'm like aware of all my joints. So EDS is something, it's similar to like a fibromyalgia. It's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And so I've always been hypermobile. So my sister and I used to joke. So sometimes it just runs in the family, but we always joke that we couldn't be cheerleaders. We'd be like, go team, go. And like that's what my elbow does, right? So that's like me having a straight elbow. I don't even know if you can really see it in the video. There you go. That's me with a straight elbow, right? So it kind of bends further than it ought to bend. And then like I have like my fingers do weird things, and I have joints that like pop in and out. And um, I dislocated my shoulder slide tackling someone in wrestling, or no, in soccer. I slide tackled someone in soccer, and then like in a really good wrestling match, it would get popped out. And my knees would pop out like when I played soccer, and I learned how to like just pop them back in. And I just thought it was because I was, yeah, I'm hypermobile, whatever, I'm super flexible. But I didn't realize, as I've been on my health journey the last couple of years, um, a doctor like put these things together and was like, have you ever heard of EDS? And I was like, no. And she asked me to do a couple different things. She's like, oh my goodness. And then like you have extra like I don't know, extra, like your skin's kind of, see my lovely neck, my skin's like more stretchy than it ought to be, which, true story, one time I was getting a facial, the only time I've ever got a facial in my life. And the lady told me, oh my goodness, you've lost like all the electricity, no, elast, you've lost all the no, I can't say that word. Why can't I say that word? My brain's not working. I'm sorry. I don't feel good. And when I don't feel good, I have really bad brain fog and my brain doesn't work. But all the stuff in your face that makes it like firm and tight, she's like, you've lost it all. And I'm like, well, that's not true, obviously, because if that was true, my face would be like on the ground. And so anyhow, she told me I had much older skin than a woman of my age. And I was like, that's really rude. And then she told me how I need to buy all these products and different things. And I mean, she's not wrong. Like, I'm sure my skin is a bit older than it ought to be, but I think part of it is I have more skin. Like, even my arms, I guess I have a bit more skin than you're supposed to have. So, like, I've had a lot of babies, right? So my stomach has way more skin than, but maybe it's also this disease thing that makes me have more skin. But when I'm in, at least when I was in Florida, when I was in somewhere hot, I felt better as the days went by. And then It's like the first day, like I'm still in pain and I walk like an old person. Like it's really sad. I was visiting a friend in Texas and both other ladies were older than me and one's like had multiple like back surgeries and I think she's probably like late 60s, maybe early 70s. But there was days that I was walking a lot worse than her and she struggles with back stuff and anyhow, just because my joints just hurt really bad and I remember talking to my doctor about it, and I was like, I feel like my hips or knees are gonna pop out on me when I walk. And he's like, yeah, it's because your knees and hips are about to pop out on you as you're walking. And I was like, oh, great. What do I do? And a lot of it is like sitting and resting and not overexerting yourself, which is not my personality. Like I'm definitely more of a overachiever. You know, I remember one of the doctors asking me like if you're trying to do something you can't get it done or like you experience pain, what do you do? I'm like, push through it, you know, mind over matter. And he's like, and that's why you're so sick. And I was like, what? He's like, that's really bad for someone like you. And so I'm supposed to take it easy more. And so anyhow, I had a wonderful time in Florida with my family. And I only felt bad for like 2 days when it got cold and I was in more pain. And then coming back to Ohio, like the first day I was aware of my joints. Like I don't think you like I don't know, I never realized like when I was like healthy and normal that I wasn't aware of all my joints. And then yeah, the first day I'm just aware of them and then the next day they really hurt. And then for me last night was like my really, really bad night and just excruciating pain. And I think there's something about not having the pain for a while and then it coming back like a Mack truck. I think it's probably similar like if you've ever been really pregnant, you ladies that have been big pregnant and you go swimming and you get in the water and you're like, oh, I can breathe. And you just feel like this massive weight off your stomach and your chest and you're like, I could take a deep breath. And then you get out of the water and you're like, oh, all of a sudden gravity kicks in again. And you're like, oh gosh, this feels it's so much harder. And it's like, okay, I got to get used to having this big belly. I loved being in water when I was pregnant because of just the amount of weight that I felt. And I don't know, I just think, I went to mass today. And I just was thinking like I don't look great. Like I don't look good, but I don't look like I'm as sick as I feel. So like I woke up this morning and my eyes were like crazy puffy and just my whole body hurt. And so going to mass, I'm sitting there and I also with the POTS disease, with POTS, like I wear really awesome compression socks all the time to help with my blood pressure and the faint feeling and stuff. But sitting, standing, kneeling really affects me. So I just stayed sitting during mass and I just felt like, and I don't think anyone was actually judging me, but I feel like people are judging me. And I also feel like you're being lazy. Just get up, just get up. Like that's all you needed to do. Stand, sit. But I like didn't. And I was just like praying against it. I'm like, Lord, give me the grace to just be humble and just stay sitting even though there's a woman that's 9 months pregnant beside me and she's standing every time we're supposed to stand and she's kneeling every time she's supposed to kneel. And she was like really big pregnant. She was beautiful. But like, I don't know. I feel like, and I don't think she was judging me, but if I was her, I'd be like, what's this lady here? Like similar age to me, not getting up, sitting, standing, kneeling. Why is she just sitting? And I know there's a lot of people that suffer from chronic pain and I know there's a lot of different things that falls under. But I don't know. I don't think like I have a friend that struggled with anxiety and I don't think I ever really got it until I suffered from anxiety. Like I had postpartum really bad after one of my kids. And with the postpartum came really bad anxiety. And I remember calling her and being like, I'm so sorry if I never fully got what you were going through. Like she would just over worry over things. And I just be like, oh, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Or she would just come to my house a lot. And I loved her. She was one of my good friends and I didn't mind helping her. Like she had her first child and I had 3 kids at that point. And she would just be so nervous every time something would happen to him, or if he accidentally ate something or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I'm like, it's great, you know? And then I'd like double check with the nurse friend. I'm like, hey, I don't think this is a big deal, but I just want to double check. And he's like, we should get that one checked out. I'm like, okay, so we're not worried, but maybe we should watch him for the next hour. But like once I don't know, I feel like after I had the anxiety, it gave me more compassion for people with anxiety. And I have a child that struggles with anxiety, and I think I'm not always as patient with that child as I ought to be. But I think understanding it a little more, hearing from other people that struggle with it, I'm like, okay. So I think that's why I'm doing the video. I don't want you, well, one, I wanted to let you know kind of where I've been a little MIA, and I'm still working on getting a studio in the house, and I'll be able to do more recording, and I think it'll just be easier. And then hopefully as the weather gets warmer here in Ohio, if it gets warmer, we may be getting snow tomorrow. But when it gets warmer, I hope to be feeling better. But I just think, I don't know, I don't know, someone asked me how my Lent was going, and I'm like, it's a really Lenty Lent. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't think I'm doing as well as the things that I took on that I'm trying to do. But then multiple times Matt said to me, he's like, you've already given up enough. Like right now, just for like I have more foods that I'm not allowed to eat than what I can. So it's almost easier to say what I can eat. And then same with like trying to be more devout in my prayer, and I don't know, trying to take on more sacrifices, or like trying to get to daily mass more, but like having I got to mass today, which was really good, but I really wanted to go yesterday, and like I just didn't have the energy to get out of bed. And I just hurt. Like walking down the stairs was extremely painful. Let alone getting out the door and getting in the car. And I just think I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing this video to let you know kind of what's going on in my world, or maybe there's someone in your life that suffers from chronic pain and you just need to love them and be patient with them. And I think it's a weird thing because you can have good days and you can do a lot more, people look like they're okay, but then they're suffering greatly and in excruciating pain. Like just trying to articulate it to my husband and kids. It's like I struggle with like inflammation, but you don't see the inflammation, but it feels like each of my knuckles is swollen and inflamed. And like if I look down and they were all bruised, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I look down and they're not bruised. I'm like, why aren't they bruised? Because they definitely feel bruised. Like I feel like a giant bruise. And like my son will like want my attention and go to tug on my arm, but when he does that, it feels like my elbow is gonna pop out, and it's like really painful. And so trying to embrace the cross that I currently have and offer it up, but also be present to those in my life. Like it's hard. And I think some of you that are young moms, I remember someone saying like they just can't, like Lent's really hard. Like they're beating themselves up because they're not doing as much as they need to be doing. And it's like, well, yeah, because you have to sit and breastfeed a baby like 7 hours of your day, and then you have a toddler that's asking you a million questions that's a little emotionally exhausting, or you're picking up stuff all the time. And I think we just need to I don't know, give ourselves grace and know that I'm praying for you, and wherever you are and wherever you are, no, yeah, wherever you are and whatever you're going through, but especially this Lent, I think it is good for us to, yeah, embrace the cross that the Lord's given us. Sometimes I think we wish we had other people's crosses. So maybe you're drowning in kids and you're like, you know what? That girl down the street who's struggling with infertility, that sounds awesome right now. I would love to be struggling with infertility. Or I don't know, I had a friend that just couldn't get pregnant. And so even girls that were miscarrying, she's like, I'm so sorry they're miscarrying, but at least they have babies in heaven. Like at least they've created a new soul. And I think it's easier to, I don't know, desire someone else's cross. So look at your life and whatever it is that the Lord's given you as a cross right now. I pray that you have the courage to pick it up and carry it, and that you use it to unite yourself to Christ and his cross. And Lent is beautiful and hard, but I think it is so worth it. Like Easter Sunday is going to be amazing, and lots of rejoicing. And yeah, thank you for being patient with me and not having more videos come out this week. Hopefully I'll start feeling better and I'll record some more next week. But yeah, God bless you. Praying for you all. And yeah, just trying to be really real with my really puffy eyes and yeah, soreness. So God bless you. Thanks for listening. And yeah, if you have other topics you want me to cover, feel free to write in the message below, but also over on Patreon, and I will uh, do that for you. So yeah, topics you want me to cover, write in the messages below or patreon.com/amongthelilies. Thanks. God bless. Bye.